Okay. So if you have any doubts, uh, you can ask simultaneously after I cover a particular page. You can ask at the end of the page before we move forward. And don't hesitate to ask questions. Okay, so let's begin. So simple description of a figure at a point of time. For example, if you see, hold on.
So basically, this video will teach you how to form sentences for writing task 1 for the line graph, pie chart, table, column graph, and mixed graphs. Processes and maps have been handled in separate classes, but these sentences will help you in those two. These sentence structuring will help you in the writing task 2 also, in a way, if you are attentive in the class.
So they cover all the data graphs in a way. So this instruction is all for all the data graphs. For example, pie, bar, table, like ma'am said. Okay. So the first, am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So for me, I think you only need to cover 3 sentences in graphs to master them. The first one is a simple description of a figure at a point of time. What do I mean by that? For example, January, if you look at this red line is 400. So you need to be able to say this at any point of time. For example, in March, it is around 800. In June, it is 1200. And you need to be able to do that for every line, like for the green line, for the blue line, you need to understand what the green line or the blue line are. And then you need to be able to say that. So in this case, it's the number of inquiries. The red line is number of inquiries in person to a tourist information office. The red line is the number of inquiries which are done in person, meaning face to face. The blue line is inquiries done by telephone. And the third one is by writing an email or by letter, by post. So these are the 3 ways. That's what these 3 lines represent. Okay, so for me, you have 3 ways to make this sentence. The first way, which works in every graph, and that's my main sentence that I use. So for me, that sentence is very simple. First, you write whatever the thing is, you write everything. For example, the number of inquiries to tourist information office in person in January. Then you're going to write was, is, or will be, depending upon the tense. If it's past, was, present, is, future, will be. And then you're going to write the value. So it's really simple. And I'll show you, I made it an interactive class. So we'll practice also. So you just write everything that you can think. This is what, this is what, this is a number of inquiries to tourist information office in person in January. So you write that. Then you just write your was or is or whatever you want to write, and then you write the value. That's it. So for example, here it was the number of inquiries made to tourist information office in person in January. The was sentence is going to be used because it's a past sentence, and the value is around 400. So how do you write it? The number of inquiries made to tourist information office in person in January, and then you write was around 400. There's one thing that ma'am told me to add here. Why is there a was? Because there is inquiries here. There's a was here because it's number of inquiries. There's only one number. If I didn't write the word the number of, it would be were. So for example, if I replace this and I wrote it like that, it would be
the inquiries made to tourist information office in person in January. It should be tourist, and that will be then it will be were. Okay,
not
then
was.
because it is the inquiry. If the word number is there, then the verb is was. Subject verb agreement is also very important to learn. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So that's one thing that you need to be careful about. Okay. And there's some alternatives to was that you can use. For example, you can use stood at, you can use reached, but you cannot use reached when you're at the first value. Like you cannot do that for January. You can do that for any other month except January. Then you can use started at. Obviously, this you can use only for January. And you can also use finished at, but again, you can use this only for the last month, that is June. So there are some alternatives to was. So it can be a different sentence in that way. You can replace it with stood at, reached, started at, finished at. And of course, stood at is going to become stand at if it's going to be present. It's going to become will stand at if it's going to be future. Similarly, it's going to be reach if it's present, will reach if it's future, like that. So you have to make certain changes like that. But otherwise, that's the sentence structure. You write the whole thing, then you write a was or were or whatever suits, and then you write the value. That's one sentence. Always sentences are made like that. If you check, it's a very common sentence. And this sentence you can make for any graph. It's the most common sentence. Okay. If it's clear, I'll move on to the second type of graph. If you have a doubt, I'll clarify this further. Do you have any doubts, or should I move forward?
Forward, please.
Okay, let's come. Let's go to the next type of sentence. So the next type of sentence is active sentence formation. Active sentence formation is when, so in a sentence, there are three things. Three things are the subject, the verb, and the object. What is the subject? The subject is the individual or the thing doing the work. The verb is the action. For example, right now, if I consider myself, I take myself to be the subject. What is the verb? What is the action I'm doing? I'm teaching. And what am I teaching? I'm teaching you graphs or sentence formation. So I can say I is the subject, the verb is the action, and the object is the thing on which the action is being done. For example, I am teaching what? So I'm teaching the graph sentences. So that can be my object. So these three things you have to get to know. Once you start being comfortable in that, you can make these sentences. For this, there are two types of sentences using these three words. One is the active sentence formation. One is the passive sentence formation. Okay. In the active sentence formation, the sentence formation starts with the subject. Then you have a verb. And it depends. If you have a singular verb, then you have an S and ES after that. If you have a plural verb, there's no S and ES after the verb. We'll clarify this further when it comes in the examples. And if it's the past tense, of course, you have to use the verb second form and not the first form. And then finally, you have the object. So for example, in this case, I thought the subject was people, the verb was made, and the object was inquiries. So, and I'm going to add the data with inquiries. So for example, my inquiries are 400. So people made around 400 inquiries in person in Jan. So that's my sentence. I wrote the subject, then I wrote the verb, and then finally I wrote the object, around 400 inquiries in person. For making this sentence, there's one condition though. You have to know what the subject is. Otherwise, you won't be able to start. See, the first thing that you need to write is the subject. How would you start the active sentence formation if you don't know the subject? So subject pata hona bahut zaruri hai. You have to know the subject for this. So that's how you make this sentence. This is the second sentence. Okay. The third one, which I mistakenly wrote active, it's going to be the passive sentence formation. The passive sentence formation is again based on the same three words, subject, verb, and object. But here, the sentence starts with an object rather than the subject. So first you write the object, then you write is, was, or will be, depending upon whether it's past, future, or present, whatever. Then verb third form, then by subject. In the case of singular, if you have a plural object, the same thing, but the plural, these will be plural. Are, were, will be, plus verb third form, by subject. So that's the sentence formation. For making this sentence, you need to know the object. Now that seems very trivial, but sometimes you don't know the object. You have to think. So don't jump into it. You will you will always be able to make the first sentence. Always. You will not always be able to make the second and the third sentence. Second sentence you can only make when the subject is known. Third sentence you can only make when the object is known. So be careful here. So I write the sentence, object is around 400 inquiries. Because it's plural, I'll use the word were, and because it's past, I'll use were, not are and will be. And then the verb third form, make third form is made, and by people. Here, by people is redundant. So whenever, in many cases, the subject is redundant. For example, even in your essays, I make you write it as commonly believed sometimes. I don't write by some. But that by some is redundant because people only think. That is not needed. So sometimes subject is redundant. You can avoid that here by people. In some cases, it's not, it's needed. For example, if it was countries and inquiries were made by different countries, for example, US, New Zealand, or someone else, then the subject would be changing. When the subject is changing, of course, it's not redundant. But in other cases, it becomes redundant. It is not needed. Redundant means it's not needed. So when it's not needed, I try to avoid it. So it's a simple sentence formation. Around 400 inquiries were made by subject in person, of course, and in January. So like that. And so that's the three ways to make the sentences. Are they clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I have yes. Anyone have a doubt? No. Okay. So now we have a interactive session. Now you're going to make these sentences. That's it. If we don't practice, how will we learn? They're very simple, so you make it. So this is the graph that I got it for you. Okay, I'm sorry you cannot look at the question and the graph together. So can you read the question first?
The chart below.
Go ahead.
The chart below shows the expenditure on three categories among different age groups of residents in the UK in 2004.
Okay.
Suppose
Yeah. So the graph is showing what, Dharman?
the expenditure of three category among
Okay. So this
different
is,
age groups.
and you can read this as percentage of total spending. So this is like
Yeah.
expenditure. Is it clear?
Yeah, there is food and drink.
Okay. On three things. So what are the three things?
The first one, food and drink. The second one is restaurant and hotel. The third one is entertainment.
Perfect. So the black line is for food and drink. The second line is for restaurant and hotel. And the third line is entertainment. Can you tell me what the black line is fully? What is it? Because that's the first part. Yes.
It is increased overall.
No. I just need to know. No.
The maximum.
So for
No. Wait. What I'm asking is,
it's
what
for
is
food and drink.
okay? If I had to tell someone what this line is, it's not food and drink. What is this line? Tell me what is it exactly. I'm not asking whether it's
Column graph. Column.
Percentage of
Expenditure.
spending.
Tell me the complete thing. What is this?
Percentage of food and drink.
Percentage of money
Spending.
spent on food and drink.
You're leaving one crucial thing though. Look at the graph again and tell me what is this thing? You're not completing your what. So you're saying,
Percentage of
The
citizen
percentage of
expenditure on the food and drink.
yeah, but it's not the expenditure by citizens. It's by expenditure by someone else. Look at the graph. Tell me. This is the expenditure by
76
Over
over the 76
years.
years.
okay.
Resident.
Okay. Which residents? Which are over?
Over
Sir, in UK.
76 years old.
Over 76. So I'll write this is the expenditure done on food, on money spent on food, like all of like someone said, like expenditure done or money spent on food, expenditure done on food by over 76-year-olds. Is it clear? Have I left anything? Food and drink. I'll make it food and drink. Is this black line representing this, or am I missing something?
Tense.
No. Just what is it? I'm
Okay.
not asking you tense. What does this black line represent? It is the expenditure done on food and drink by over 76-year-olds. Am I
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the volume is remain.
It's this. This is what this line is representing, the black line, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'll put a was here because it's expenditure. It's not plural. So was. And what's that value?
23%.
Yeah, slightly above 23%. So I can make it out 23% or slightly above 23%. That's it. That's your sentence formation. So you write the complete thing, you put a was, and then you give a value.
Hmm.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
That's the first sentence.
Sir,
Okay.
we how we find out that these are the years,
Which one?
which is showing in the above in the bar graph. under the paragraph, like in the downline.
Age groups, it's written here now among different age groups. I get to know by reading this question, different age groups. So when I look at the graph, I come to know this is age group 1 under 30, 31 to 45 is the second age group.
Okay, yeah, right.
That and reading the graph and the question together. So that
Okay.
was my problem because the graph was too big, so I could not show you the graph together. But if you look at it now, I hope it's clear. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, but how this done means did.
Okay.
Why this?
Yeah, we'll make your sentence. Money spent on. Is it clear now? Is that work? Does that work?
Meagle is asking why it is done because it is a third form, passive voice.
Okay.
Expenditure done on or the money spent on? Do, did, done. Spent, spent, spent. Okay. Expenditure will be done, money will be spent. Expenditure is money spent. You cannot write expenditure spent. Okay.
No, if a question is why is it third form, then
Yes.
it's a different answer. Why expenditure? See, expenditure is spending. So you don't say expenditure spent, spending spent. Spending kari jati hai. Like if you know Hindi, spending hum karte hai. The spending is done and expenditure is spending is done. But money we spend. So if I use money, it's spent. If I do expenditure, it's done. Now, if your question is the second one, why it's the third form, it's because this is not my verb here. I'm telling you money spent. This is what? This is agar main bolunga, jo kharcha kara, like the money which is spent. It's not something, I'm not making a sentence here. I'm telling you what this is. This is money spent. Money which I spent, like that.
Okay, sir.
One
Okay.
thing, if I say like this, is it right or not? For example, the percentage of expenditure on food and drink was 23%.
That is also perfect. By
Okay.
70 or 60 years old, don't miss anything. That's it. The percentage of expenditure done on, that is also perfectly right. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what my answer is. The 76 six groups expenditure on food and drink was same thing. I wrote it the other way around. I wrote the 76 age groups expenditure on food and drink. So I called this that. Then I put a was, and then I put around 23% for the value. So similar to you. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Now for the second sentence, if we want to make, I need to know the subject, verb, and the object. So do you know what is the subject? First, tell me the subject. For this only. For this line only, for this data only. What's the subject? Who is doing the action? Who? Tell me.
76 plus age group.
Very good. Over 70.
President of UK.
Yes, good. Perfect answer. 76 plus 8. What's the verb? What are they doing? Tell me that. Action. What is the action?
Spend.
Spending.
Spend. Spend is the verb. Perfect. What are they spending? Answer this.
Drink and food.
No, they're not spending food. Are they spending
Money,
food?
money.
Money is the answer. Don't make the mistake here. So what are they spending? The action is done on the object. Object is where the action is done, on which the option is done. So the object is going to be money. But and you're going to write how much money? Not all the money. They're spending how much money?
23%.
Money. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And because it's past, it's 2004. So our verb we'll be using the second form of the verb, not the first form. So can you make the sentence now? Inactive. Make. First, what do we write?
76 age group
Yes.
over 76 age
Yes. I'll
group
write it. Yes.
is spent.
Had spent.
Why had? Wait. Where have I written had before the verb? I simply wrote subject, verb, second form. I did not write had. So there will be no had.
Yeah.
Okay. So 76 age group spent. Yes. What did
23% of
23% of
Percent of
money?
money
on food and drink.
Yes, on food and drink. That part you have to add. Is it clear?
So
So
23% of money
Of-
बोल सकते हैं.
of
both
total
right.
money.
Yes.
The
20%
more words you put in, you spoil the beauty of the sentence. There's a saying in English, brevity is the soul of wit. Why do you want to put in extra words when you are being given sample sentences? Okay, just follow them.
Yeah,
Okay,
so you can write it. It won't make it wrong, but if you don't write it, it is completely all right.
Yes.
Okay, good. So let me show you my sample answer. Over 76-year-olds spent same thing, 23% money on food and drink.
Drink.
That's nothing different to you. Same thing that you wrote. Third way, same. Now I have taken the subject, same thing. I have varied a verb. Now you ask me, right? There's also variety. So some people, if your English is better, you will have a different verb. You can have a different word also. For example, in this case, let me take the object as spending. I just told you what is the verb for spending. Spending, what do we do with spending? What's the verb? Tell me. If my
Do.
object is spending, yeah, Nafisa, can you repeat?
Yeah, do. Do is the
Do.
verb for
Yeah.
spending.
For spending, the verb is do. You do spending. You don't spend spending. If I take my object as spending, then my verb will be do. The subject is the same. You cannot change the subject. So that is over 76-year-olds. So how will we form the sentence? First, we start with the object, spending. They don't do total, how much? 23% spending. So can you make the sentence? Right. Just follow the
3%
23% spending
yes.
and spending was done
was done by over
by
70
76 years. More than 76 years old.
By over 76-year-olds,
Yeah.
you're leaving something. Write that. What
By
are you?
over
On
no, I'm saying
on food and drink.
on food and drink, yeah.
food and drink.
So is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So one thing you notice, you made the same type of sentences for the line graph, the same way. Now you're making the same thing for your bar chart. So I wanted to make it clear for all the data graphs, you use the same thing. There's no difference. So that's why I took a bar graph. Okay. So now I'm going to take a pie chart also. Let's do the pie chart. Okay, tell me. First, read the question and understand what the question is saying. Then you'll be able to make it. What's the question saying?
The chart below shows the electricity consumption in different sectors of Eastern Europe in 2007 and 2010.
Okay. So can you tell me what is this figure? What is this? What do I tell? What is this to someone if I have to tell?
Residential 28%.
What is this? Now, what?
Electricity consumption.
Complete it now. Yes, it's electricity.
Consumption of residential.
28%
Home like this
of
accommodation.
electricity consumption is done by
Electricity consumption was highest in residential area.
No, I'm not asking whether it is highest or lowest. Why are you why are you telling me that? I'm just asking, what do I tell someone? What is this? If someone asks me, what is this? What will I answer? What is this?
electricity
Maximum
consumption
by
by
residential group.
residential
By
sector
residential.
was 28%.
Okay. What is electricity consumption in residential sector? That's it. Electricity consumption in residential sector. If I have to send someone, that's what I'll say. Electricity consumption in residential sector. Is it clear?
Yeah.
That's my what? That's what this is representing. And then I'll put a was because it's past. It's 2007. And then I'll just put the data, 28%. That's it. Sentence is done. Electricity consumption in residential sector was 28%. Okay. Now you have other words if you know, if that's how you get better. For consumption, you can use usage also. You can make it usage. That's how you can bring more variation also. Yes. Do you have a doubt?
No.
No. Okay. So I'll
Yes.
check the answer. Yes.
If we say like this, electricity consumption was 28% in residential area is also.
It's also correct. But I'm just telling this is the main way I write it. You can also
Yeah.
change was location. You're right. Okay. So for example, here I added 2007 later. You can do that. And we missed something. So don't miss some things like 2007. Don't miss that. Because there were 2 years. I gave you data for only 1 year. Okay. So now tell me, I missed here. So you're going to tell me the data for Canada and agriculture. So can you tell me what is it? What is this value? 10. What is this? Tell me, what is it?
Percentages.
What is
16%.
percentage?
16%.
Complete it. Tell me what is the complete thing.
The
Water used in
percentage
Water
of
Canada for
consumption
agriculture.
water con-
Water consumption.
in
Where?
Canada
Canada
and Australia was
Not in Australia. It's not Australia. In Canada.
In
water
Canada,
consumption
and
was 10%.
Oh, you're missing something. Complete the whole thing first. You're leaving something.
water consumption on agriculture
Yes, agriculture.
Agriculture.
In
and
Canada.
in Canada
And then you'll put a just was.
was
10%.
That's it. Not is. Yes. Why? There's no year here. So we made a mistake here. It should be is. I hope it's clear.
So can you please repeat?
See, what is this? If you read it, the percentage of water used in different sectors. So I came to know this is the percentage of water used in which sector. You can see this is agriculture. So 10 is the water used in agriculture. And
10%.
you can also see this is used in which country? In Canada.
Can.
So water consumption in agriculture in Canada is 10%. Why is it is 10%? Because no year is given. When years are given, we use past tense. When years are not given, we use present tense.
Okay, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see my sample. The percentage of water used in agriculture in Canada is 10%. That's it. It's the same as yours. No difference. I made percentage of water consumption. I added that. It is correct with also, without it also. It doesn't make any difference. Okay, let's go next. Type 2 for this one. Now you're going to tell me what's the subject. Now be careful. I want who is doing the work. What is the verb? First of all, tell me what's the verb. What is the verb? Action. If you find the action, you'll have a good sentence. If you can't find the action, not a good sentence. Tell me, what's the action?
consumption.
Usage or consumption.
So tell me the verb form now. You're telling me the noun.
consume
Consume or use. Right. And because it's past tense, we'll make it consumed or used. Okay. So that's my verb. Right. Good. Now tell me who's using this? 28%. Who's using this?
Residential.
Residential
residential
sector.
sector
Perfect. Residential sector. Or homes. Homes are using, you can also call it homes, right? Residential sector is nothing but homes, you can make it. And what are they using?
Electricity.
Electricity.
But not complete electricity. How much electricity?
28%.
28% of it.
28%. Okay, so can you make your sentence?
Residential
Residential sector
The
used
percent
28% electricity.
You start with subject. Subject is what? Residential sector, right?
Residential sector.
residential sector.
What's your verb?
Consumed.
Percentage of residential sector was 28.
No, you're
Consumed.
changing.
No.
You're changing.
consumed
Consumed electricity. Consumed 28% of electricity.
Perfect. That's it.
28% less.
Yes. We're missing one thing that you missed. What are we missing? Something. You're missing the year.
Percentage.
You're missing the year.
2007. Year.
In the year 2000.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So follow the sentence structure. Okay. Let's go next. Make the passive also now. Tell me. So keep the same subject, verb, object. Make the passive. What's the object? Write the object first.
20.
28%
The consumption
was used by
Electricity.
That's the
residential.
object, right? 28% electricity. Then was
was used
Consumed by
Consumed by
by
residential
sector.
sector.
in 2007.
In 2007.
2007.
That's it. So let's check the answer. The residential sector consumed 28% of the energy in 2007. So I also made it energy here. It's the same thing. 28% of the,
Can't, so
yes.
can't we use percentage after this sentence, like before residential, after residential?
So sorry, can you,
Percentage. So परसेंटेज जो टर्म हम पहले यूज कर रहे हैं वो हम बाद में यूज नहीं कर सकते इन बिटवीन
कहाँ
सेंटेंस
पे कौन सा से कहाँ पे कौन सी परसेंटेज विच परसेंटेज
सब पैसिव वॉइस जो हम बना रहे हैं उसमें हम बात करें
कहाँ पे 28% where do you want me to use it?
तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी लाइक पहले हो जाए एंड देन बाद में परसेंटेज इन बिटवीन समवेयर
Acha,
कांट वी यूज लाइक दैट
I'll ask you this question. Okay, you answer this. I spent rupees 10. Can I change the so you cannot, okay, you put 10 rupees somewhere else. You cannot put it somewhere else. It has to come there because otherwise it won't make sense. Similar, 10 rupees, rupees 10 was spent by me. I cannot change the location of rupees 10. If I make it a passive, rupees 10 was spent by me. I cannot put it anywhere else. Otherwise, it will be a wrong sentence.
ओके सर
Otherwise, you can do it, but then the sentence structure is changed. For example, in active, we do it. In passive, we do it. In
Okay,
active,
sir.
but we can't do it in the passive one. Passive one, it is going to come at the beginning. Is it clear?
ओके सर
Okay.
यस
Yes, sir.
It's not going to come at the beginning. It depends. See, what I want to tell you here is, okay, I missed that instruction. Okay,
Okay.
we'll make that. Okay, we add the data either with the subject or the object, wherever it is applicable. I'll tell you what I mean by that. Okay, here, it's the percentage of what? Tell me.
Expenditure.
of spending.
An
Total
expenditure is our object or subject.
Object.
So the data is going to come along with the object. Are you clear? Is
Yeah.
it? Okay. Now let's imagine I said percentage of people here. Then the data, then the data is for what people? People is our subject. Subject. Then the data is going to come with the subject. Are you clear with this? What I said?
No, it's not
No.
clear.
Okay, I'll make it clear. Okay, let's look at the last graph table. Maybe that, no, it will not help me also. Okay, I'll explain. Okay, let's imagine the graph gives data about number of people. Who spent money on computers, who spends money on laptops. That's one graph. So here tell me, the data is for what? The data is telling me what?
Spending money.
No, not at all. Tell me, read.
Number of people.
number of people who spend
Yes.
money
Yes. So for example, I have data 10. So 10 is not money. 10 is number of people. Are you clear?
yes
Yeah.
sir
So here I'm going to put 10 along with the subject. So when I make the sentence, I'll use it. The 10 will be along with the subject. If the subject comes in the beginning, 10 will come at the beginning. If the subject comes at the end, the 10 will also come at the end along with the subject. 10 cannot move. 10 has to come with the subject.
Subject.
Yeah. Yes. Now let me change the graph. The graph gives data about money spent by people. Okay, now tell me the graph is showing what?
Money spent by
Spending money.
people.
Money,
People on
money
laptop,
spent, right?
10
Yes.
people on the
So
laptop.
here is your data. Data is what? Money spent?
The amount of money.
Yes. That's what. That's the object or the verb. Object or the subject.
Subject.
Object.
Money. What is the subject? Try to answer that again. What is the subject? The person who does the action. Who is doing the action? Money or people?
People.
People.
People. So what is
People.
10? 10 is money spent. So 10 is what? 10 is the
Object.
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 So we are going to use 10 along with the object. If the object comes in the beginning, we are going to put 10 at the beginning. If the object comes at the end, the 10 is going to come at the end. Are you clear what I'm trying to say? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, good. If that's clear, I'll show you also. Okay, let's say here. Okay, what is the data? Tell me. What is the graph showing?
Graph
So
shows time is spent on
Time
various
is spent.
activity.
Time
in
spent.
days.
Time is the okay. Time spent. Who's spending time? Think
People,
people. So time is what, the subject or the object?
object,
Time as object.
So the data is going to come along with what?
Object.
object,
Object. If the object comes at the beginning, the data is going to come at the.
beginning.
If the object comes at the end, the data is going to come at the.
At the
End.
end.
It's going to use along with the object. It cannot be used anywhere else. Are you clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If the graph I change it, the graph shows the number of people who spend time. Now tell me, the what is the data about? What is the graph telling me?
Number of people.
People.
So it's the subject, right? People is what? The subject. So the
Subject.
data is going to come along with the subject. If the subject is at the beginning, at the beginning. If the subject is at the end, at the end. I hope it's clear.
It's clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's move on. We have done with this thing. Let's finish with the table also. 10. Now tell me, what is the subject in this case? We were done with both the active and the passive. Yes, we're done with both the active and the passive. Okay, so now let's make the active and the passive for the table, and we can move on the second type of sentence. So tell me, what's the subject here? What's the verb here? What's the object here in this graph? Subject, verb, object.
Percentage of water. Subject.
No.
Water is okay. First, tell me verb. Think about the verb. What is the verb?
Consumption.
Use.
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 Yeah.
Okay. Who's using? Who is using? That's your subject.
Countries.
Actors.
Country citizen.
Or countries, or can it be sectors also?
Sectors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Can it be sector? This sector used,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
It can be country also. I agree. The country
Yeah,
used.
yeah.
Okay. It can be the sector also. Okay. What are they using?
Water.
Water.
Water. The data is for what? Country or water?
Domestic use.
The data
Different-
is for
different.
water or country?
Yeah, different place. Different.
Domestic.
Country.
Look at the
Agriculture.
question. What is the data showing? Look at the question. Read the question.
Water usage.
The percentage of.
Water in
So
different
it's the percentage of country or water?
Water.
Water.
Water. So the data is going to come along with the subject or the object?
Object.
Object. Perfect.
Object.
Okay. So now tell me. You told me the subject is sector. We'll make it with country also. We'll take the sector as a subject. The verb is used and the object is
water.
water. Okay. So now let's do it. So make the sentence.
Agriculture.
Agriculture sector.
Yes.
Was
Consume.
Or
Use.
Used.
Use or used.
was used.
Used.
Use.
Okay.
Actors.
Dharman,
Use.
did I write was inactive or no?
Inactive. No, it's not need to
Why
put.
are you putting was? There's no your was. There's no
Use.
Yeah, but I want to make passive for this.
passive then cannot start with agricultural sector.
Okay,
Passive has to start with
Uses.
Yeah, with objective for your object.
what is the object?
Water.
Water. So you cannot make the sentence. Okay. Use how much water?
10%.
10%.
10%.
Okay.
Of
In which
water.
country? 10% of
10%
water.
water.
Same thing. What
Water.
off is not necessary. 10% water. Where?
In
Canada.
Okay. Is it clear?
Yeah.
You can also write, you could have also made the subject as agricultural sector in Canada. Is it clear?
10% of water. Yes.
Sir,
sir.
use V1 form or V5 form?
First form, because it's present. Verb
Agricultural
form.
sector is
The user.
saying about the one group.
I made an error here. I'll correct the Nafisa. You're right. But first, why is it use? It's not used because it's the first form. Kritiman, ask your doubt again.
Why it is not in V5 form?
In which form?
V5 uses.
Usage. What's the verb? Usage is the noun form. We are going to use the verb. Usage is how use. Use. We have to use the word use or consume. That's the verb. Usage is a noun. Usage doesn't
Not,
mean
I am saying that not uses. I am saying USES.
yes, it should be uses. You're right, because it is. Okay, tell me the rule here, Kritiman. You're right. I made that error deliberately. Why is it uses and not use? Tell me.
It's third form of.
No.
It's about saying this one sector, so it should be singular.
Yes, singular. When the subject is singular,
Yeah.
then the verb has a s.
Yeah.
Okay. When would it be used? Tell me. Make a change here so that I use, not use.
Sectors.
Sectors. Very good. If it had been sectors, I would have used use. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see the sentence. Okay, what happened? Okay. The agricultural sector consumed 10% of the water in Canada. Same sentence as you. Nearly the same. Okay. Consumes. I use the word consumes, not use. So that's the only difference. Verb. Okay. Now we'll make the passive form. So let's make the passive
Sir,
form.
excuse me, using of after percentage or removing that has the same meaning, right?
Yes, here it doesn't make any difference. 10% water, 10% of the water.
Mhm.
Okay, it's the same. Consumed. Okay, let's go next. Passive.
10%.
Passive. What comes first?
10%
Passive
of water
objective.
Water.
Object. Yes.
10%
10% water.
used by
If
10% of
10%
water is
water.
being used by.
You're
10% of
being,
water
was used.
was
was used.
is used.
Okay, let's slow down. Is it
used.
present or is it past?
Past. It should be.
Isn't.
Present. Now it's
Was.
present.
Present
Present. So it should be
Yeah.
Is uses.
Is.
is.
is
Now,
used.
is there going to be a being or no? Is there going to be a
being.
being or no? Did I teach
No.
you?
Being.
No.
No
Verb third
being
form. What is the verb third form? Used.
Used.
used
Next.
In
By.
agriculture.
by
by agriculture
But-
sector in Canada.
Perfect. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, 10% of the water is consumed in agricultural sector in Canada. Here, by and in, you can interreplace. It doesn't make any sector. By agricultural sector in agricultural sector means the same thing. 10% of water is used in agricultural sector by agricultural sector. It's the same thing, not a difference here in this question. I hope it's clear. Jasleen, are you clear with the sentence formation till now?
Yes, yes.
That's the first type of sentence that I covered. If you're clear, we are moving to the second type of sentence.
Yes, sir. Very clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear.
Okay,
Can
let's
go
go.
on.
Okay. Okay. Remember, you cannot make these sentences always. You need to have a subject to make the active one, and you need to have the
Yes, you are.
object.
object to make the passive. You cannot make the passive without the object. You cannot make the active without the subject. Okay, let's go next. Second sentence. The second sentence you should learn and you have to make is when you have to compare. For example, this value, the green value is 600, emails and letters. So the number of inquiries made to the Tourist Information Office by email is 600 in January. Whereas if you compare, this is 400, in person is 400. So the second sentence that you need to learn is when you have to make a comparison between two values like that, because that's the second thing. One is just simply telling me the value. That's what we have done. We have no comparison with anyone else. The second sentence that I'm teaching is when you have to compare. For example, you're going to compare the red with the green, or red with the blue, red with green and blue, something like that. You're making a comparison between two different things. For example, I'll take this graph again. When you're comparing this 10 with 12, 10 with 20, 10 with 9, so you're making a comparison. That's the second type of sentence we are doing. Is it clear what we are doing right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's begin. So second sentence, comparison between 2 or 3 figures at a given point of time. So I will try to teach you 5 ways to do it. Okay, The first sentence, it's very simple. You put a while. For example, the first value is 600 for the green one. For the red one, it is 400. So I'm just going to put a simple while, and that's my sentence, nothing else. I'll make two sentences. I'll put a while in the middle, and I'll make the sentence. So the number of inquiries made by email and letter stood at 600, while the number made in person was about 400. That's it. Just put a simple while and you're done. You can also use whereas for this. So either while or whereas, both do the same function. Are you clear? There's only one condition here. There should be a little bit of difference. If it's 600 and it's 590, rather than using while, I would have used and, not while, because then it's not a comparison, it's the same value. So I use while when there is a bit of difference. There should be some difference. If it's nearly the same, don't use while, then use and. So is it clear?
Yeah.
Anyone has a doubt in this first sentence?
No, sir.
Okay. Now I have another question. I have another thing for you. Now, the first one, I made the first sentence, which is this sentence, what was value? Remember? Is it clear?
Yes.
And when you make the second sentence, I've made which one? Active.
Yes.
So you
Right.
can bring in variety like this when you're making comparison. For the first one, you can use what was value. For the second sentence, after while, you can bring in the active, or you can make the passive one. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone has a doubt? Tell me. Okay.
You repeat in second condition.
Second, I'm just saying like when not to use while, that condition or this one. So I'm just saying, see, okay, look at this. This is my first sentence. It's the first sentence clear. We just made it earlier. The number of inquiries made by email and letter stood at 600. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. The second sentence is also the number of inquiries made in person was about 400. So I simply put a while in the middle and I make the sentence. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, you don't need to make the second sentence in the same form like we did earlier. We can use it, we can make it an active sentence, we can make it a passive. So that's how you bring in variety. So the first part will be the what was value sentence. The second sentence can be active or passive. For example, here, I made the second sentence the active one. Do you remember? The passive one. So, sorry, not the active, passive. Is it passive? 400 inquiries were made in
Yes.
Yes.
person. So that is the way you can bring in variety here as well. Is it clear?
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's do the second way. Second way is by
Sir?
using the word yes. Do you have a
Sir,
doubt?
इसमें ये तो नहीं आएगा the number of inquiries is yes, sir. Yes. The number of inquiries is made by email and letters to the
No, because then that will be present. First of all, it's not present. And like I said, it is not my verb. Made is not my verb. What is my verb here? Okay, someone tell me what is my verb here? I want to ask you. What is my verb here?
So stood.
Stood at. Stood at
Yes.
is my. If made was my word, then I would have made is made or was made. But made is not my verb here. My verb here is stood. I'm saying the number of inquiries made by email and letter was this much. This was the number of inquiries. So made is not my verb. When made is a verb, then you can put is or was here. But here it's not that. Okay. I'll teach you this thing later on also. Just hold on. It'll come. I'll clarify this. Why there no is here. Okay. So let me cover these types. Second way, more and less. So you can use the word more or less. For example, here in January, the number of inquiries made by email and letter was 600. The number of inquiries made in person. So first I told about letter. Then I said in person was slightly less at 400. So then I'm saying the number of inquiries made in person was slightly less at 400. So that is the way you can make a comparison as well. So the number of inquiries made by email and letter, you said the first line 600. The second one, you can make a comparison by saying it is slightly less than emails and letters at 400 and it is 400. Is it clear, this method?
Yeah.
Anyone has a doubt? You should
Sir,
have.
why there is tense past tense? Because it is survey.
Sorry.
Inquiry.
Repeat.
The past tense, why you use the past tense?
Because it is past. Okay. This graph had 2001 written in it. In 2001 here. I
If
didn't.
it is not 2001 and in January, we
Then it will be
can.
present. Then it will be present. You're right.
Sir, I am confusing about the way you write the made. While in the present we write make, the number of inquiry make by the email and the letter is 600. If in the present form.
Okay. Okay. How did we make? How did? Okay. You are. We have to have a clarity here again. This sentence is this sentence. What? This is my what. I'm not thinking about my tense here. You have to stop thinking about the tense in this part. This part doesn't have the tense. The tense comes here. When I put after the what, I put the was, is, or will be. Then is when you start thinking about the tense. It will be made in present also. It will be made in past also. Because this part is like a passive thing. Inquiries made to tourist information info. To inquiries is what? Tell me. It's the object or the subject.
Object.
Object is followed by third form or first form?
Third form.
Third form. So this made is not actually the second form. It is which form?
It's passive form.
This made is not the first form or the second
It's
form.
V3
Past
form.
participant.
This
Past
is
participle.
third form actually, like
Yeah.
that. Are you clear? So it will
Yes,
be
sir.
made either in present or in past. Whatever happens. Is it
I
clear?
get your point.
Okay. Miguel, is your question answered like this?
Yes, sir. I have always this doubt.
Now, are you clear? This is not the second form or the first form. This is which form? Third. That is why you don't think about it like that.
Object came.
Yes,
Okay.
object is coming, right? If it was other way around, people make inquiries. Then if it was preceded by people, we started with people, then what would it follow?
Made
Not-
tense form.
Then it would be make or made, depending upon the tense. Are you clear? Because in active, it's followed by verb, and verb can be first form also, or can be second form also.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
When we write in active, it's like subject plus verb. Verb first form or verb second form. So then you have to choose between the verbs, not in passive.
Sir,
Okay.
here
So-
make is like a main verb, means like the main
No,
verb
it's
of the
not,
sentence.
and that will be being made. It will be different. It won't come like that. I'm just giving an example.
That is why I was confused because this is relative clause, and when you remove it with suppose it means like the main sentence was the inquiries,
That will be like
which
people. It'll
which
become a
are
noun.
made.
Inquiries which
Yeah.
are made or which were made.
Made, and it is
Yeah.
reduced clause, so which and or will be removed, and that is why that is the past participle. So in
Yes.
any type of the tense, it should be past participle. That's
Yes.
why I got confused and asked you.
No, it will be past participle, but it will change, right? Who,
Yeah.
like in the present, who make or who
Who
made.
made.
So
Yeah.
it will change according to the tense. If we are preceding it with the subject, then it will change still. There will be a difference.
So I have a
I got
question.
it.
Yes.
So if we come back to the previous sentence, the 28% of electricity
Which wait.
is used
Here.
by the agriculture.
Yes.
By the agriculture. Yeah, so yes, the agriculture
Yes.
in
Here.
Canada.
No.
By the matlab 28%, sorry, 10% of water is used by the agriculture sector in Canada. My question is putting the before agriculture. Is it okay?
Yes, I would put the before the agriculture because it's the agricultural sector that we are talking about in this graph. But without it, it's also it's not a big thing here. Is because
Okay.
we are saying the agricultural sector in Canada. So that is making sure that we are clarifying which agricultural sector. If we were not talking about, so for example, this graph was only one country. So there I would necessarily put the, because I want to make sure they're clear that I'm talking about which agricultural sector, the one in Canada. Here it's redundant. It is not needed. It is matlab, it can be done without the verb also because the is for specific. So if even if you don't use it, it makes sense here. But it'll be better.
Okay.
It's always better to use it. I use it a lot. I put a the
Okay.
here. I'll be honest. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So won't be wrong. Okay. Is it okay for the second way if I write I was slightly less in person in it was slightly less in person at 400. It is what? Dash was slightly less in person at 400. Yes. Dash was slightly less in person. No, I don't know what you're saying. Just can you repeat? No, it would not be right. Okay. Inquiries made in person were 2000 less, right? What is less? You're writing in person after less. Then what? It isn't clear what is less. Okay, I'll copy this sentence and tell you why is it wrong. Okay. Dash was slightly less in person. Now tell me what is slightly less. Answer this. Someone else answer this. What is slightly less?
Enquiries.
Which inquiries?
Email
In
and
person.
Inquiries in person. Are you
yeah.
clear? So I cannot write that after slightly less, right? It would not make any sense. What is slightly less? That'll be unclear. It'll add to confusion. So in person cannot come after in slightly less. In person is the main thing. It's the part of the main thing. Inquiries in person. I hope it's clear why it has to come beforehand.
Because it causes ambiguity, I guess, because
Yes.
if you add in person, that doesn't mean that the quantity is related to what exactly.
Yes.
Am
So
I right?
yes, you're right. So let's make a change here. The inquiries was around 200 less. Which inquiries? Aren't you confused? So now I write the inquiries in person. Now you're clear which inquiries were slightly less, the one made in person, the one we made in person. I hope that's clear now.
Yeah, clear, sir.
Okay. Okay, so can you tell me, okay, we'll cover this. Okay, so another way is writing 400. You can even write the number of inquiries was around 200 less. You can calculate the difference and write the difference was 200 less. So you can do it like that also. Or 200 more if it's the case of more. So you can write 200 less or 200 more. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Should I move forward?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. I'm moving forward. If you have doubts, please stop me. The third way I make this sentence is there was a difference. I'll talk about the difference. So there was a difference of around 200 in the inquiries made by email and letter and in person. So there was a difference of 200 in the inquiries made by this method and this method. And then I'm going to say with the figures of 600 and 400 respectively. Now this part is really important. Can someone tell me? A lot of my students make a sentence and end it here. And they think they've done a very good job. But it's not very good. What's the problem? Tell me.
It doesn't clear about the data.
What data?
It doesn't show the quantity.
Okay, that is one problem. Another problem.
It
Ah,
doesn't show
yes,
that which one is less and which one is more because
yes,
it is showing the difference only between these two
yes.
data, two
So
pieces of
perfect,
data.
perfect. So Jeet and your Nafisa, both of you said the right thing. So we don't know which is more. So when I say there's a difference of around 200, anything can be more. So it's a very confusing sentence. It doesn't say a lot. It misses a lot of things. I don't have any idea about the data. For example, the data could be 1,800 also. The data could be 200 and 0 also. And I don't know which is 200, which is more, which is less also. So please, along with this, you have to you have to give data like that with the figures of 600 and 400 respectively. You have to do something like that. So I hope that's clear. Moving to the next thing. Another one that I use as method for comparing is the word followed by. Followed by is really simple. So first you write the first value, for example, 600. After 600, what is the value? 400. Please remember this can only be done when the next value is 400. It cannot be done when so you cannot skip value. For example, after blue, you cannot write about red. After blue, you have to follow it with green. Green has to be followed by red. So make sure it comes one after the other. Otherwise, this doesn't make sense. And use it only once. For example, after red, you can say, how many inquiries are made by blue? 800. Blue is followed by green. That's what I'll write. I cannot write blue is followed by red. I hope that's clear. So I've made it here. The number of inquiries made by email and letter was 600, which was followed by inquiries in person at 400. And this was followed by inquiries in person at 400. Is it clear?
Yeah, it is clear. But in line graph, can we compare to
Yes.
trend? But we can compare it, but it is good to follow the trend.
We will follow the trend also. I'll teach you that also. You have to do both the things, Therman. I'll tell you when to use both the things. Okay.
Excuse me,
I'll write,
sir.
when I write the graph, I'll teach you when to use what.
Okay.
Okay.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
sir. This the fourth way, which
Yes.
you now just read it. So this follow doesn't show the time or time sequence. This is
In
just
January.
showing
In
that
January.
no, I mean like you wrote it, which was followed by inquiries in person at 400. So I mean like this follow doesn't show the time sequence. That means this data is in this time and that data is in that time because both are in January. Okay.
Yes.
So so this means which was followed means like you just trying to inform another data at the same time about something else.
Yes. Another data at the same time.
Same.
Yes. Yes. It
Same.
cannot be used for a different
Oh.
time frame. I'm not teaching you a different time frame yet. That's my
Yeah,
third.
because generally we use follow. Like I remember in process, you just explained about the follow, and that one was like next step or previous step. So that's why I was thinking it should be like something after something, but it doesn't mean like that.
No, it is not a time followed. It is an order follow. Like blue is followed by green, green is followed by red. That's the way we use it here.
So we can use it. Okay.
Yes, we
Okay.
are going to use it. It's a very good sentence, actually. But I use it when there's non-years. I prefer to use it in non-year graphs or non-time graphs. But you can use it at both the places. We'll cover that also, when to use what. First, we'll cover all the methods, then we'll cover that. Okay. The fifth way is when you talk about the maximum or the minimum. Here, red is what? Can you tell me in the first one?
Minimum.
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 I'm going to say red was the minimum. The least number of inquiries were made in person at only 400. And then you're going to give the data at only 400. Is it clear? This is also a comparison with other things. How is it a comparison? Minimum means what? Minimum or least means what? It is
Least.
less than all the other values.
Yeah.
So again, it is a comparison word, comparison sentence. Is it clear?
Yes.
Anyone have a doubt?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ask.
No, sir.
Clear. Okay. Moving forward.
I understand it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now I want to tell you something. I don't know why you didn't ask me this. You should have. But a lot of sentences I'm using words like at, with, which was followed by. I'm using a lot of them. So why am I using a lot of them? I'm going to answer that. Where to use them. Okay. So let's see why to use them. Okay, Miguel, you have a doubt. Were made how? Because it's passive. Remember passive, you start with object. What is object? Least number of inquiries. Were, then object. Object is followed by what? Verb, were or was. So were, and then verb third form, made. Right? We did this, right? Recently we did this. 400 inquiries were made in person. We did it. Instead of 400, you are using least number of inquiries. That's it. You're replacing 400 with least. So I'll cover this. Let's listen. Why am I using at or which or with? So the reason is we are making complex sentences. And in these cases, in this one, when we compare with other things, we end up making complex sentences. Why do we end up making complex sentences? Because you end up saying more than one thing at a time. So for example, look at this sentence. You are saying two things. Can you notice? The first thing is that the in-person inquiries were slightly less. And the second thing was the number of in-person inquiries was how much? 400. So in one sentence, you end up saying how many things? Two things. Whenever you are saying two things in one sentence, they have to be separated by something like an at or a with. Is this part clear what I'm saying? How many things you're saying? Look at this, slightly less and 400. So they are separated by an at or a with, something like that. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So here, okay, I'll ask you first. Now tell me what are the two things here?
Email and letter and in person.
No, two things.
With
What are
a
the
figure, with the figures.
no, what are the two things? What am I saying? I'm saying two things in this sentence. I'm telling the examiner two things, not two things, actually two things. I'm telling the examiner two things about the data. What are the two things I'm telling the examiner?
In
Tell me that.
person and email and
One
letter.
is 600,
First is the difference.
one is
and
the main
second
value,
is
one is
the
the main
figures.
figure of each data, and another one is the difference.
Okay, that's what I'm telling the examiner. The first thing I'm telling the difference, there's a difference of how much? 200. This is one thing I told the examiner. I told 200, difference is 200. The second thing I told the examiner, the values are 600 and 400. Are you clear what I'm saying here? What am I?
Yeah, but if you say the difference is 200, you put also, for example, the volume also. It is a kind of repetition.
No, I told you why. Because we don't know which is more. Daman, okay, let's see. There's a difference of one band between Daman's bands and my bands. Clear? Daman, this sentence is clear. There's a difference of how much bands? One
Yeah,
band. Tell me. Okay, tell me who scored more, Darman or me? We
You.
don't know. We don't know. We just know there's a difference of how much? One. We don't know who scored more or who scored less. Is it clear?
Yeah.
And it can be 6 or 7. It can be 5 or 6. It can be 9 or 8. It could be 1 or 2. It could be 2 or 3. Our bands could be anything. So data has to be mentioned here like that. Is it clear?
Yeah, I know, clear.
Okay. Now tell me, in this sentence, there are two things. Tell me which two things are here. If you are clear, tell me. You'll be able to tell me. What am I asking? There are two things in this sentence. We're telling the examiner. What are the two things? It's not needed, Charlotte.
By in person is 400 and also email and later
No,
is
this
600.
sentence, let it be complete. Okay, this sentence is complete. Now tell me here. There are two things here. What are the two
Followed by inquiry in person is 400.
No. Yeah, clearly say. What are the two things?
Inquiry in it is email and letter and also in person.
No, clearly you're not saying that. You are saying inquiry in person. Leave that. Tell me what are the two
The
things I'm
number
telling
of inquiry made by email and letter is 6, and inquiry in person is 400.
No, this part forget. Now tell me. There are two things in this sentence. What are the two things in this sentence?
Followed by at.
Not
Followed by highest
figure.
and lowest. Highest and lowest.
No, followed by and the second thing?
Figure. 400 figure.
400 followed by and 400. So I get to know two things about inquiries in person. What are the two things I come to know? Tell me. What are the two things I know about inquiries in person in this sentence? There are two things I know. Inquiries in person are following what?
highest and immediate
The
lowest.
volume just 400.
One thing is all 400. The second thing is they're following what?
One is
They are less than the
Email
inquiry.
and letter.
Later.
Yes, you're right. Devanshu, you're correct. So
Yes.
inquiries in person are following email and letters, meaning they come after email and letters, and their value is 400. There are two things here. Are you clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now tell me in this sentence, please tell me the correct thing. No, no other things. There are two things I'm telling.
Least number and person ID.
And
400.
yes. So the inquiries in person were the least, and the second thing is they were how much?
400.
400. Are you clear?
Yeah.
Yes,
Why
sir.
in these sentences we are using at? And where do we use the at? Tell me that also.
Position.
If the data is
Yes.
If
at the
the
instant
data is
data
exact.
Yeah,
exact.
before the data, just before the data. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So now don't get confused and don't write was here. And you'll come to me, sir, taught was. I told you was when there was only how many things in the sentence? One. I taught you at and with when there are how many things in the sentence?
two.
Two
Are you
or
clear?
more than two. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, so let's go. Next part. Okay, that's it. That's the second type of sentence. So let's practice. Okay. So make a sentence. For me, you're going to make sentences and we are going to move forward. It's going to be a lot. Okay. I made a very
You can divide the class into. I think students also must be wanting a,
I'll complete the exercise for this and then we can decide.
yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's make it. The first sentence I want you to make for while for graft and drawing. Make a while here. Use it. First, tell me what the data is showing. Read what the data shows. Tell me.
Favorite subjects.
Yes, but what is the data showing? What is this 25? Think.
Percentage.
No.
Person,
Favorite subject.
person,
Read.
Craft drawing.
School A and B.
What is 25? Read. I don't need an answer. You have to read first. Be calm and read.
number of student,
Number of
Student.
students. Perfect.
Yes.
That's what I wanted. 25 is the number of students. Please remove all the clutter. School A and B, leave. I am asking what is 25? Number of students. Okay. Which students? Tell me now. Complete the sentence. Which students is this?
School.
craft and drawing.
In
School.
school B. Okay. And what?
Yeah.
Who?
25%. 25 student.
Yes. Who?
In
What?
craft drawing.
Who? What craft and drawing?
Yes, who like to do?
Who like?
Favorite.
Their favorite subjects are craft and drawing.
Yes. 25 students का favorite subject craft and drawing था. 25 students had a favorite subject of craft and drawing in school B. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So put a while and make the sentence. Craft and drawing was the favorite. You can make the sentence the number of. You can make the sentences anyway. Okay, I'll make what was value sentence. The number of students whose favorite
Subject is
Subject was.
will be is because there is no
Yeah.
here.
craft
Is craft drawing.
and drawing.
25.
You're missing something.
In school.
In school B.
At 25.
This is what then is and then 20. You are asking me, Dharman, why is this coming here? What is this? That's your question?
2 is, I think.
Why is there two?
Okay. No, is the second is it right? Or put at
Right,
25?
right. You are going to explain me why the first is right now. I'll leave it to you, Daman. Think. What am I doing so that I can use
Object,
this?
verb and subject is correct for this
No
reason.
time is
Second
given.
is not correct.
Oh, no. Why two is? That is the question. Why are there two is here?
Because there is a subject.
In my opinion, the second is not correct.
Subject. Because there is one. The second is belongs to the number of students, and the first is belong to the relative clause. That means the whose favorite subject.
Yes.
That is why it's a correct sentence.
Whenever there is a verb like whose, so it's a relative clause here, like she said. So this is favorite subject is craft and drawing. This is for number of students. The number of okay, remove this. The number of students is 25. Is this a good sentence? Yes. Which student? Whose favorite subject is? Whose favorite subject is craft and drawing. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll change it. I'll make it clear. Okay, let's not write. Okay. Who love craft and drawing? We'll make it like that. Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. Whose favorite subject is also the same thing. I'm just adding that. And then you'll do what? You'll put a while. Now make an active sentence. Tell me. Okay. Active starts with what?
Subject.
Subject.
What is the subject?
Subject is
Number of students.
number of students.
Number of students.
Yes.
A,
So how much is that?
5. Only 5 students.
4. What are you doing? I'm talking
Yes.
about
Okay,
which?
okay.
4.
Training.
In school
Will be.
A
School.
was
What?
Select.
Why was is coming? Okay, tell
No.
me. What comes after subject? Tell me.
Wow.
Verb. What is the verb?
Love.
And
And what do they love? What do they love?
love it.
subject.
Love it. Craft drawing.
Object.
Object,
What is the
object.
object? What do they love? Craft and drawing.
Craft and drawing.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it clear? While now make it with more, for more or less with social science. Okay, let's make it.
Social science.
Should I give people opportunities? Do you want me to ask questions or is it okay? Random. What do you prefer? Would you like to attempt? Anyone would like to attempt? With more or less? First, give the data again. I'll give the data. This complete thing while writing the sentence. Okay. Instead of craft and drawing, I'm going to write social science. Okay. Is how much?
10.
It's 10.
In school B.
Yes.
The number of students who love social science is less than 6.
Where? Complete it. You're missing something. Who loves social sciences?
Is
Less.
First write in school A, right? In school A, yes.
Is less
Is
than.
what? Is slightly less. You don't need to write less than. Is slightly less. And then give me a
6.
value.
at 6. At
6.
4.
At
6.
6.
okay. It's slightly less at 6. It is slightly less and it is how much? 6. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. Now make it, this is what? This is a complex sentence or a simple sentence? Tell me this.
Complex.
Complex. Complex. Good. Jasleen,
Yes,
how many
complex.
things? What are the 2 things I've mentioned here?
Subjects, number of students, and percentage 6.
No, the first thing you're saying wrong. Which is the first thing? What's the first quality I'm telling? That they
Who
are?
love subjects? Who love subject?
No.
No.
Or
Less, slightly less, and 6.
slightly less. Yes, slightly less. Sir.
And the second thing is how much it is?
Percentage.
6.
At
Six.
6.
Okay. So I want you to make it Simple. I want you to remove two things and say one thing. What you can do is
Like
Six
it's
less
4.
than
6 or 4.
Is 4 less than
4.
4
Yeah.
difference. Okay, 4 is difference.
Is this now simple or complex?
Complex?
Complex.
How? Which two things am I mentioned? Tell me. Which two things?
Percentage and more than or less than.
Equally A and
What
B.
percentage? What percentage did I mention?
Sorry, difference. 4.
What's the other thing that I mentioned? One is the difference. What is the other thing that I mentioned?
Less than.
Four less is together. It's not different. It's 4 less. There's only one thing. This is an active sentence. What is missing here? This is a simple sentence. What is missing here? At, with. Have I used an at or a with? No. Okay. Okay. You can mute and say things, right? Okay. When you're thinking, please mute yourself. It's a simple sentence. There's only one thing that I've said. It's 4 less. In school A, the number is 4 less than school B. That's it. I've not said two things. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that's why there's no at or anything like that here. Okay. Now let's make the third way. Tell me. Yes, Nafisa, you have a doubt?
No,
Anyone?
sir, everything
No.
is clear.
Okay.
No, sir, no.
Let's go third sentence. Third way difference. For science, tell me the difference. Tell me. There is a
Which one?
7%.
Number 2.
there's a difference
Was a
of
difference 7.
7.
Difference of
Yes. In what? Wait,
In
in the
science,
number of
the number of students who love
who
science,
love
who love, ठीक है, who love and like.
who like science.
In school
Both is
school A,
school B.
then school B.
School B
With figure
with the
With the
figure
figures of
9
and 2%
9
respectively.
and 2 respectively.
Okay. One thing I want to clear. Then also a lot of you are using percentage. This data is not in percentage. It's the number. 60 students. It's not percentage. It's number. So we are not going to use the word percentage here. We're 10 students. Who is more is like. No. Then your sentence wasn't correct grammatically. The first part was correct. Whereas 10 more students, 4 more students liked it in school B. First of all, there is no school B here in the second part. So there's a lot of, correct that sentence. Write it again. I'll check it here itself. Okay. Is it clear the different sentence? Then you
Yes,
write
sir.
the sentence again. I'll correct it again. First of all, make it 10 a number, not percentage. Then write school also, and write 10 students like it in school B. Write like that. Okay. Followed by, let's do it. Followed by, do 25 and 18. First of all, do 25. Then tell me 18. So craft and drawing is followed by. Craft and drawing is followed by
Language.
language. That is the way. So first give me the data for craft and drawing. Which sentence you want to make, active, passive, or which one?
Passive.
Passive. Okay. So you're going to write what first? Passive.
Object.
So what is the subject? First decides that. Students, what are they doing?
Craft.
What is the action?
Craft and drawing.
Action is what? Repeat the action. Like. What is the object?
Craft and drawing.
Craft and drawing.
Okay. So we'll start with object. Object is craft and drawing. Perfect. Craft and drawing. Next. Is or was?
Is.
Verb third form?
is loved
By
the number, by 25
students
students
in school B.
Okay.
Could it be?
Which was followed by
Hmm?
for students in
No. Which was followed by which subject? Tell me the subject name. I'm showing you which was followed by.
Language.
Perfect. Which was followed by language. Then
In school.
it's only school.
Hello, sir. Sir,
Yes.
language is followed by craft.
So which
What
was
is
followed
more?
by language in school A.
No A. I'm talking about B only. Okay, first of all, I'm talking about 25 and 18. They are both in school. Which school?
Yes, school B.
Okay.
B.
So there's no A. First of all, I don't know where A came. What is
Language
following
is
what?
object.
Yes. What is more? Language is more or craft and drawing is more?
Craft.
So what is following? Language is coming next, no? So which was followed
Okay,
by
sir.
language? Language is following.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Was which was jeez.
Devanshu, you pick out so many of my mistakes. I like it also, but I'm very happy. Okay, so it's nice, which is liked by. Okay, small mistake I made. It's a present tense. It has to be which is followed by, not which was. You're perfectly right. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Just one example left. Okay, good. Okay, so fifth, make it 36. What is it? Which one?
Sir, excuse me, which value should come after is followed by the lower value or the upper value? I'm not.
Followed by which is following. Language is following, right? So it will come, the value will come for language, not the upper value. Language.
Languages follow. You mean in terms of quantity? I'm not getting.
So craft and drawing is followed by language
Um,
at 18. We'll give the value for language, not for craft and drawing. Craft and drawing value will give first in the first part of this.
Now, suppose we can say sports. Sport is followed by craft and drawing.
No, it's not right. Sports is followed by science. After sports, it's science. You are changing the school as well. You cannot see if we say you are changing two things. You are changing the subject and you are changing the school. You cannot change two things. Change one thing. Tell me, what are you going to change? Either you change the school or you change the subject.
I think my main problem is understanding that the word follow, because I don't know that follow comes based on what it is coming.
You see,
Like
followed is always the lower value. You know, you give a higher value for something and then you say it was followed by this at this. See, 25 is the higher value and it was followed by the lower value, 18.
okay, I got it now. Okay, thank you.
So in the graph, I say the trailed by is also same the follow by.
But I would, it doesn't suit that well.
We wouldn't use this word trailed by. It is followed by and followed by. That is it. Don't expect
Okay,
there's one graph you have to write over there. Learn the few words that are
That's a
befitting.
good word. Yeah, I've not used trail by. I'll check it for you, but I would
But
say
I
no.
wouldn't use it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say no for now. Yes, Dipanshu, for sure. I'm going to share it with everyone. Okay.
Yes,
I
sir.
made-
Please share me this
I'll share this
PDF.
file. Yes, I'll share this PDF with all of you. I made it for you. So it's for you.
Okay.
Okay. I made it for all of you, right?
And
So
I
let
must tell you, I must tell you that Indrup has worked so many hours on this, you know, so many times, so many hours he's put into making this video. And this is a classy video because I've been teaching so many years, much more years than he's been teaching, but he's coming up with so simple things which, you know, every student can register very nicely. I'm really so proud that he's done so much hard work on this.
No, it's fine. Okay.
Thanks from Indra. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's finish it though. Let's finish the last one, and then we have one sentence left. So we'll do that on Monday. Okay. So let's do this. Okay. So here, maximum, highest, or minimum, or lowest. So we are going to say maximum, right? In school A, which is maximum?
Sport.
School A.
School A, what is maximum? Which subject?
Sport. Sport, the
Sports.
maximum in the school.
So sports,
Followed by science.
sport. We are not going to
Like-
solve. It's the maximum. Sports,
Minimum is
Is
craft.
it like
okay. This is a question for Kritiman only. Kritiman, which type of sentence is this? Which? Active, passive,
passive?
passive. Very good. I'm starting with sports is like by, and instead of data, I'm writing the maximum students in school A. Now I want to give the data. What will I do?
With
With or yes or at or something like that with a figure of
figure of 36.
36.
perfect. Is it clear? So I've said two
Yes,
things.
sir.
Why is there a with a figure of? Because there are two things. First, maximum. The second thing is 36.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the class. Now tell me if you have any doubts. We have now the third one where we are going to discuss. I hope it's clear what I'm trying to discuss when something changes over time. So from January to March.
So one doubt.
Yes.
The third one, more or less.
Yes. Ask me.
So where is more?
Okay. Change the sentence. First write about school. Okay. So I'm writing school B first. You write school A first. Let's see. I'll write school A first. What's the value here? 6, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
School A 6. Now you want to write about school B. So I'll write school B is 6 more, is 4 more. It's not 4 less, it's 4 more than school A. Your wish, right? In A,
Okay,
it's
sir.
6, and in B, it's 4 more than school A.
Okay, sir. So, provide your reading videos.
Okay, I'll provide. I've been sharing them on YouTube. You check YouTube channel. I've been uploading now. Reading. There's a playlist. Reading. Open that playlist. My videos are there.
Okay, sir.
Sir?
Sir, please send me before PDF.
हेलो
Sorry.
सर
Yes.
सर ये डेटा जो है ये स्कूल ए का कंपेयर कर सकते हैं हम तो जैसे सर सोशल साइंस और साइंस के अंदर सर
हाँ
मोर
कर
देन
सकते
लेस
हैं।
देन के अंदर
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं. Wherever you want to compare it works.
ओके सर
Yes. For example, 9 and 6. You can say 3 less than science. Social science 3 less than science, or slightly less at 3. At 6. Both the sentences are fine.
ओके सर
Okay. Are you all clear with this?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a small exercise for you. Okay, Divya, do you have a question?
No, thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. I have a small exercise for you. So you're going to do that. So, so I'm sharing it in the group. It's your homework. There are 4 graphs. You're going to write the first sentence, the second sentence, and the third sentence. I haven't given you the homework for more, less, or the comparison ones. I've just given you the homework, the simple ones, active, passive, and things like that. So,
Okay.
okay. So I'm just
But
giving you.
please give us feedback, okay?
Yes, I'll give you feedback. But I have a request. What's the request? Ma'am will tell. You have a time limit for sending that. There are only 12 sentences you need to make. So take 1 hour now. It's 7, 8 p.m. Send it before 10 p.m. I don't want
actually the thing is that endless checkings come and it's not possible for me at all. So there's a time limit. Any entry which comes after 10 p.m. I am not correcting it. And
Okay.
10 p.m. means 10 p.m. It doesn't mean 1 minute past 10 p.m. That is it. Because yesterday night I had a tough time completing all the feedbacks and some came even a little late. So don't make it late than 10 p.m. That is it. Okay?
That's 2 hours. You have to just write 12 sentences. It's not much. Okay. So if you want it checked, please 2 hours. Within 2 hours, do it. Okay. So that even we can go. I have to go tomorrow.
In the morning, I may check it tonight, but I'll not check any entry which comes after that time.
Sir, would you please, sir, would
Can
you
you
please share the PDF now in the group?
Yes, I'll share the PDF now for this and for the homework as well. I'm sharing it
Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir, where we have to send the
You
homework?
can, okay, mom, to your you can send to ma'am's
They
phone
can
number.
share in the group they are in. That way we also know which group they are in, which group they
Okay,
are
ma'am.
coming from.
You can share in the group.
Yes, we should know
Okay.
the group also, no? Where they have paid, where they are in.
Okay. Where they are. Even if you are, we'll check for everyone, but just share in the group.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So
Excuse me, sir.
yes.
So the group I'm in, like it says only community admins
Oh,
can send messages.
those who are in the community, they are also there in a group. Okay.
If you're not in a group, send it to ma'am or me directly.
Yes.
It's okay. Send it to
Okay.
ma'am or me directly. It's also fine. You can take,
Okay.
I'll share the number. You can send it to ma'am or me. But before 10 o'clock,
Okay.
that's the only request. Okay.
Okay.
So now I have to share the homework with you. Okay. Yes. So there are 4 graphs. There's a pie chart. There's a pie chart. There is a, what do you call it? A line graph. There's a table graph. There's a bar graph. The values have been circled. You have to write the figure for that year. If they have been
And
circled.
another request is write only what has been asked for. Don't
The
write
3
the whole
sentences.
graphs. Don't
nothing
write
else.
the whole graphs. Okay. Write only what has been asked for. Only that much.
I'm sharing the homework as well and this file also. Okay, I'll end it here. We'll continue with the third type of sentence on Monday. Okay, that's it for now. See you all on Monday.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you, sir.
It is
Yeah.
best
Thank you.
Have a
best
good
video
weekend.
for tax one.
Thank you. Thank you.